50 KTRS. Thank you, Jimmy Holder. FBI Director James Comey talking about the Ferguson Effect, and our good friend Aaron Katersky with ABC News is covering it. Good morning, Aaron.
Hey, good morning, McGraw. James Comey made some rather provocative comments on policing during a speech before the International Association of Chiefs of Police annual conference in San Diego, and he said that basically anybody who thinks police violence against minorities has become an epidemic doesn't know what they're talking about, not because they're making it up, but because there's no data, there's no statistics to know one way or the other. He said the belief that policing is violent and racist and unfair is ill-informed, and he said mainly that's because statistics aren't tracked. He called for a national database on the use of force, and he said that would help inform people as opposed to just the drip, drip, drip of different videos, which he said tend to reinforce a narrative that may or may not exist.
Yeah, it's sort of, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories over the course of the last couple of months, but there are hundreds of thousands of police stops every single day.
And most of them go off, without any kind of violence. But the ones that do include violence and that get recorded one way or another and then get released to the public reinforce what the FBI director called this, epidemic nationwide of police brutality. And he said, each video becomes, further reinforcement. But he said the truth is that most police officers are good people and went into a job where you would encounter violence because they want to help. And he said, yes, there are bad cops and there are departments with troubled culture, but he said that's true of all industries.
What did he say about the Ferguson effect? Because there is a philosophy here in St. Louis that police officers are less likely, and that has then emboldened the bad guys.
Well, and the so-called Ferguson effect also may or may not be real, depending on your view. But I think what Comey acknowledged in the absence of any data is that he said there are costs, real costs, he said, to this group of videos serving as proof of an epidemic. He said it makes it hard for law enforcement to do their job and protect communities because the absence of information, the narrative dominates. He said, if people don't trust the cops, they're not going to offer tips. More murders will go unsolved. If the distrust continues, more people will die. And so the cycle he suggested feeds on itself.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Did he say anything about the emails and the email scandal?
No, nothing that I had heard. But we were focused here on
Sure.
this. But he's repeatedly defended the FBI's handling of
right.
emails.
And we should say that he has been where other law enforcement officials have sort of downplayed the Ferguson effect. James Comey has been very much front and center talking about the Ferguson effect and how there are some points that have a legitimate point, whether it's accurate or not. He does acknowledge that is a legitimate theory going around.
Well, look, because perception is reality. He said, there has to be a national database on use of force so that they can figure it out. Where are the incidents? Who are the victims? What's causing them? And then, if there are places that need to be addressed, you address it. But, absent that, he said small groups of videos dominate, and he thinks that's dangerous. On the other hand, you're going to hear, I think, from the president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, something of an apology today for a history of mistrust between certain communities and police departments, and so in some ways both are true.
Yeah, Aaron Katersky, ABC News correspondent in New York. Aaron, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
8:25 here, Big 550 KTRS. Brenda Talent going to join us on the other side of the news at the bottom of the hour. If you are a city employee of Bridgeton, bad news coming out. You might not have enough money in your pension to retire. That's coming up here.